That is what makes this different. That is what keeps you up at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment it all came apart. Not a stranger, not bad luck, not some random hit you never saw coming. Someone you believed in, a person, a company, a system. Maybe it was a boss who promised you the world and then cut you loose without a second thought. Maybe it was a partner, in business or in life, who walked away with everything you built together. Maybe it was an institution you gave years to, loyalty you never questioned, and they looked right through you when it mattered most. You did everything right. You showed up. You gave it everything. And the very thing you leaned on, the very thing you thought was solid ground, was the thing that broke you. So yeah, you are angry. You are confused. You feel like a fool forever trusting in the first place. And part of you, a quiet, stubborn part, is wondering if you will ever trust anything again. I hear you, and I need you to stay right here. Because what I'm about to say might change how you carry this. Here is the real problem. And I do not mean the betrayal itself. That is obvious. The real problem is what you are doing with the story you are telling yourself about it. Because most people, after something like this, fall into one of two traps. And they look different on the surface, but they come from the same wound. The first trap is rage without direction. You stay in the heat of it. Every morning you wake up, and the first thing your brain does is replay what they did. You rehearse the injustice. You build the case. You get sharper and angrier and more certain about how wrong they were, and you are probably right. They probably were wrong. But you are spending your most valuable mental energy on a courtroom that will never open. No verdict is coming. Nobody is going to stand up and say, yes, you were wronged. Here is your justice. That rage burns clean for a little while. Then it starts burning you. The second trap is quieter and more dangerous. It is the collapse inward. You start to wonder if the problem was you. Not what you did, but what you are. You trusted the wrong person because you were naive. You got hurt because you were soft. You let yourself be exposed because somewhere deep down, you knew you were not enough to hold it all together. This trap is worse because it sounds like honesty. It masquerades as self-awareness. But it is not. It is shame wearing the mask of reflection. Neither of these traps gets you anywhere. One keeps you locked in the past, fighting battles that are already over. The other keeps you locked inside a story about yourself that was never true. The real work, the hard, quiet, unglamorous work, is learning to hold both things at the same time. Yes, what happened was real. Yes, it hurt in a way that changed you. And also, that betrayal does not get to write the rest of your life. Because here is what nobody talks about. The most dangerous moment after a betrayal is not the hit itself. It is the weeks and months after, when the pain starts to calcify into identity. When you stop thinking I was betrayed and start thinking I am someone who gets betrayed. That shift, that tiny, almost invisible shift, is where people lose years. Sometimes decades. You cannot let that happen. I want you to think about what actually happened inside you the day things fell apart. Not the external event. You know that story by heart. I mean, what happened to your sense of what was real? Because when the person or the place or the system you trusted betrays you, it does not just hurt your feelings. It reorganizes your entire understanding of reality. Suddenly you are standing in a world that does not work the way you thought it did. And that is disorienting in a way that goes way deeper than the practical damage. The career is gone. The money is gone. The relationship is fractured. Those are real losses. But underneath all of it is something even more unsettling. You no longer know what is safe. You no longer trust your own judgment. You look back at every moment you thought things were fine, and you see all the signs you missed. And now you wonder, what else am I wrong about? That feeling has a name. It is called a shattered assumption. Psychologists who study trauma use this term to describe what happens when a core belief about the world gets destroyed by experience. And here is what they have found. It is one of the most destabilizing things a human being can go through. Not because the event itself is necessarily the worst thing, but because it removes the floor from under everything else. But here is the thing they also found. And this is what I need you to sit with. The people who rebuild from shattered assumptions do not do it by pretending the floor was always solid. They do not fake optimism. They do not rush past the pain to get to the lesson. They rebuild by doing something much harder. They accept that the floor was never guaranteed, and they decide to keep walking anyway. The ground was never promised. Your next step is. That is the shift. That is the reframe that changes everything. Because when you realize that no person, no company, no institution, no relationship comes with a guarantee, something unexpected happens. You stop giving away your power. You stop outsourcing your stability to things outside yourself. Not because you close off. Not because you become cold or cynical, but because you understand at a bone-deep level that the only foundation that cannot be taken from you is the one you build inside. Now I want to talk about the invisible days. Because this is where most people give up, and nobody ever talks about it. After a betrayal, after the initial shock, after the anger, after the tears, there are these long, gray, unremarkable days where nothing dramatic happens. You are not falling apart. You are not triumphantly rebuilding. You are just existing. Getting up. Getting dressed. Making small choices. Doing the next small thing. The world does not applaud these days. Nobody makes a video about them. Nobody pulls you aside and says, I see what you are doing. I see how hard it is just to keep showing up when everything inside you wants to shut down. But those days are the whole thing. Every small, honest effort you make, even when nobody is watching, even when it does not feel like enough, even when you have no idea if any of it is leading anywhere, it is compounding. Quietly, the way interest compounds in an account you never check. You cannot see it happening, but it is happening. Your nervous system is learning that you are safe again. Your identity is slowly rewriting itself away from victim and towards something tougher and more honest. Your judgment, the very thing that felt so broken, is getting calibrated in real time, through real experience, in a way that no good fortune ever could have done. Because here is the uncomfortable truth about easy roads. They do not build the kind of person who can handle what life actually is. And life, as you now know better than most, does not stay easy. The people who get knocked down by betrayal and still choose to come back, not because things got easier, but because they refuse to let that wound define them. Those people develop something that cannot be bought or borrowed. They develop an unshakable sense of self that was forged in actual fire. Not the self that existed before, naive, maybe, and trusting in ways that left it exposed. But a new self, one that knows the cost of trust and chooses it anyway. One that knows what rock bottom feels like and uses that knowledge not as a scar to hide, but as a measuring stick. One that says, I have been here before. I have been lower than this. and I came back. That person, the one you are becoming right now, on these invisible, unremarkable days, that person is harder to break than the version of you that existed before all of this. The betrayal did not weaken you. It stripped away the illusion that you needed the thing that betrayed you in the first place. So here is what I want you to do today. Just today. Not a plan. Not a strategy. One thing. Write down one decision you are going to make for yourself, not in reaction to what was done to you, but in the direction of who you are choosing to become. Not an answer to them. Not proof that you are fine. Not revenge dressed up as progress. Something real. Something small if it needs to be small. Maybe it is a phone call you have been avoiding. Maybe it is an hour of work on something that belongs entirely to you. Maybe it is just writing down what you actually want your life to look like a year from now, when the weight of this has shifted from crisis to chapter. One decision, made by you, for you, today, because that is how you take the power back. Not in some dramatic single moment. Not in the confrontation you keep imagining. In the small, sovereign choices you make for yourself when no one else is watching and nothing feels certain. That is where real recovery lives. Not in the comeback story you will eventually tell. In the quiet, stubborn decision to keep going right now when there is no audience, no applause, and no guarantee of anything. You were not destroyed by what happened to you. You were revealed. And what got revealed, what is still here, still standing, still showing up, is tougher than anything they ever counted on. Keep going. They counted you out. Count yourself back in.
These next videos will inspire you on your current journey.